My name is Elvis. Welcome to Power Your Story, a podcast from After School Matters in Creator Imposter Studio in Chicago. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show.
Hi guys, welcome to Power Your Story podcast. My name is Emilio.
Today's Open Mic Thursday topic will be the Oscars for 2022 and the Chris Rock Will Smith debacle.
What happened?
His wife had hair loss. Chris Rock told Jada Smith that she could be the next G.I. star in the next G.I. Jane movie. And that's when Will Smith, and he looked at his wife and said, she not even laughing. That's when he decided to man up, stand up, and walk down to the stage and slap Chris Rock and walk away.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a joke, basically.
So yeah, that's all that happened. Will Smith took the joke too serious, and he started cussing him out.
For no reason.
Yeah.
I'd say that it was very embarrassing for him to do that, especially in front of a whole audience. That even he did that and still got Oscars reward from doing that. I'm just saying to myself, like, that's just so embarrassing. And I could tell that Will Smith did a fake apology to Chris Rock because it don't even sound like a real apology. Because the fact is, he couldn't even take a joke that well. Really, he couldn't. I mean, Chris Rock is a comedian. I mean, he's going to be making jokes all the time. So ain't nothing new about that.
I wouldn't say he shouldn't done that because he might actually ruin his own career for doing that. So I would say he should apologize for that.
Well, I've seen it on the internet that Will Smith did apologize to Chris Rock, but I think it's not like a real apology.
I would agree.
I think he is still upset about the joke he did to Jada. It is not funny.
But here's the thing, like, I don't think he was intentionally trying to do it, like, trying to joke about her condition or anything. I think it was more like just on the funny side, not on the rude side. Because while Will Smith would smack Chris Rock like that, knowing that he could actually look like an embarrassment in front of the whole internet, because if that was me, if somebody made a joke about my wife, if I had a wife, I wouldn't have done that because I would have just shrugged it off and moved on. Like, it would have made me look like the bigger person. It would have actually made me look better instead of just going up on stage looking like a fool.
Well, yeah, Will Smith was a fool for smacking Chris Rock in front of a whole audience. It also became a meme. Yeah, every social media, it was a meme about it.
And I've been seeing it all over my TikTok. It was hilarious.
I've seen memes on Facebook about it, and it was funny, the memes, though.
Like Will Smith slapping him, Chris Rock. He said Chris is talking about Will Smith, his wife, Jayla. Gotta keep his wife near your mouth. He want to apologize to Chris.
He should have just let it go and move on.
Yes, I agree.
I think he should have handled it off of TV.
That should take away his reward.
Take it away.
I agree with Essence, actually.
They should take it away.
I would say he would not deserve that for reward.
Because that was unprofessional as an actor.
That's all I gotta say.
Same here.
I feel like Chris Rock handled it pretty well. Like, it's not easy to just take a slap and then not have a immediate reaction to it. He carried himself very professionally.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with Joel. Like, to hold yourself back to not react in order to, like, defend yourself has to take a lot, especially since you think, oh, he's just going to come up, just say something. He didn't react back to getting smacked. He just kept going with the show and knew that he was live, so he kept a professional face. But I believe that Will Smith could have handled that way better than what he did in order to, like, get to that point. Like, yes, I understand you felt like your family was disrespected and there's an actual condition that she faced and things like that. But that could have been addressed in a different manner instead of, like, there and then live on TV and knowing that there's people watching and things like that.
Yeah, for me, first of all, I want to say that, like, I think both of them are in the wrong, kind of, because I can understand how Chris Rock, how he would think, probably, like, just because, like, he's a comedian, like, old times, you know what I'm saying? Like, during his time of, like, you know, when he first started getting popular, like, jokes like this was, like, you can make these types of jokes, but I think he forgot that we're kind of in, like, an age where we can't really just say just anything. But I'm not justifying like what he said, because what he said was obviously wrong, and he shouldn't have said that in the first place on live television. But I also think that Will Smith probably could have handled that situation more better, because he has to keep in mind that that was live TV. And I feel like everything he did, like after the slap, if he could have just did everything he did, it would have been okay. But I feel like the slap was just really unnecessary and really unprofessional, especially for like, him.
I agree with Dewayne, but like at the same time, I just want to point out that what Chris Rock said and what really any of the presenters say is scripted. It's being written. It's someone's job to write out like pretty much every line. So you can't really blame the whole thing on Chris Rock.
I'll agree with you that the Oscars are mainly scripted, but the jokes that come on the Oscars are sometimes impromptu. They don't really prepare those jokes ahead of time. Sometimes it just depends on how the comedian feels and what comes to mind in that moment. But at the same time, I agree with you. They're comedians and they're gonna come out with some jokes that might offend people, and that's kind of like some of the jokes that come up nowadays with like people using the name Karen as another thing to call other people that get overly sensitive to other things, even though there's people with the name Karen that actually have the name and it's offensive to them, yet we still use it apparently. But back to my point is that I feel like as a comedian, you're going to know that there's going to be some sensitive spots and some things that you can still joke about. But at the same time, from Will Smith's side, now that he did that, there's more attacks going on his wife, which is Jada, from other comedians just straight out making fun of her with more jokes to get, I feel like, back at Will Smith, because we kind of live in a country where like you have the right to say what you want, obviously knowing that it's going to offend people, but not caring.
One thing I wanted to say is, can I ask like everybody a question? Am I like the only person that didn't know she had an illness until the day of the I had no idea she had alopecia. I'm pretty sure nobody did until the day of.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm pretty sure Chris Rock didn't have any idea, because like when it happened, as I'm searching, I just see a random like article saying that she had an illness. I'm just like, wait, she has an illness? I thought she was like, how women shave their head as like a kind of like a women's rights kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought it was kind of like that kind of thing or something like that, or maybe by choice,
I mean, they say that she posted about it beforehand, so I feel like if you're kind of a celebrity, you're kind of in a close knit type of group where like you know most of the things that are going on with other people sometimes. I'm not saying this is all, because some people are very private and don't really go on social media, but apparently she talked about it a lot, so they say that Chris Rock should have known or something like that, but I don't know if he did or didn't.
Yeah, I agree. I had no idea that she suffered with alopecia. And I feel like as a comedian, that's kind of like what it's always been. Like they're the person like at a comedy show, you don't want to sit in the front row because like you're a target. They'll probably crack a joke on you or two. And that's just kind of like that world. And so I don't think that Chris Rock had bad intentions when he did it. I think that it just kind of came out the wrong way and it did hurt Jada's feelings. I was kind of surprised that at first, like Will Smith was laughing at it. And then all of a sudden, like he was super angry and got up and got violent. I felt like that was like a big 180 and like his like emotions like changed really quickly. And so that was surprising to me.
I may agree with Trayvon said it before, since like we're living in this world, like it's fine like telling jokes, but like when you're saying jokes like inappropriate, insulted, or probably like something like racist jokes about culture, about Hispanic, Black, Asian, anything like that. So I agree with Trayvon said that we live in this world, so we cannot offend ourselves. Like what kind of jokes are we telling to the audience? Like be embarrassed yourself. Those jokes I've been saying.
One thing that a lot of people, I'm not speaking for myself personally, but I think a lot of things that people were talking about were that they found it odd, I'm doing air quotes, odd that Will Smith to go to such a length for a woman who cheated on him while they were married a few times. And she said the reasoning he did not find out because he did not love her enough and things of that sort. So they found it kind of weird that he would go to such a length for a woman who said and done these things to him. I just want to put that out there.
Okay, there's something I want to add that there's some celebrities have responded of this reaction of Will slapping Chris. There's one actor I'm not sure you may know him. His name is Eugenio Deves. He's a Mexican actor that I know him for a really long time when I was a kid, and he responded. He didn't expect that what's about to happen, and he said about like, for example, like he's a comedian too. He liked telling jokes. If you saw jokes about like people or someone who got cancer and then passed away, I'm not feeling offensive anything. It's kind of like a joke. I'm not saying like disrespectful to anyone. And also I want to add, I found out that Jim Carrey, if anyone knows him, Jim Carrey said that on an interview, it's like a quote that I read, and he said that if I was Chris, I would demand him over like millions of dollars for slapping the face if he was Chris Rock.
Another thing I should probably mention is that I wanted to add what Dewayne was saying, where Will was defending his wife, even though there was really no reason to. But I feel like it was more about what Will. This is in no way defending his actions because I still think the way he did it was wrong. But in his past, he has said that because of what he went through as a child, he feels like he has to be better than his previous father, which if most of you don't know is he really had an abusive father, and the mother ended up leaving because of the abuse, and she left the child, and I believe, like, I'm not sure if he has sisters, I'm not really sure, but the point is that she left them and he had to grow up with an abusive father. But again, for me, this is in no way defending him. I just wanted to like add that little information that if no one knew. There's also another part where when Will Smith was younger and he was obviously a comedian himself, he also made some offensive jokes to other people as well. I don't know if you guys have seen the video that has recently resurfaced from back then, where when he was younger, he was on like a live show, or I don't know if it was live, but it recorded. But the speaker who was talking, he's actually bald, and I believe Will Smith made a bald joke, and the person who was talking kind of got offended. But at the end of the day, Will Smith said in the recording, he's like, "Oh, relax, man. It's just a joke." Again, obviously, it's 2022. Attitudes and people's character change, but at the same time, if you did it, how are you going to fault someone else for making kind of a similar joke? That's just what I think. Again, I feel like that whole situation's kind of messed up in the way that it was all handled, but I don't know if that's just me.
Overall, I feel like that he could have handled that in a much better way. Like, he's on live TV. Like, a lot of people saying that they wouldn't have even knew the Oscars were happening if that slap would have never, that whole slap situation would never happen. And he made a statement on Instagram, and what he said was very true, that he stained that event forever. Like, nobody's going to remember who got an award, who got an Oscar. Nobody's going to care about that. All they're going to care about is Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. That's all that they're going to care about. And I feel like people who got awards or had big moments at the Oscars would be mad or feel like, I can't think of the word right now, but they'll just feel like they did all of that work for nothing because all their work is being overshadowed by Will Smith's actions.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Will Smith wasn't thinking clearly when he decided to go about it in a violent way. I think he just realized that what was said hurt his wife and he wanted to take up for her, and I don't know if he thought that would make her feel better or how that would go, because although it might not have been Chris Rock's intent, obviously he did hurt Jada's feeling in some way. And, it's something that she probably struggles with, having alopecia, and it hurt her feelings. And so I do think that that's important to acknowledge, but I don't think that he was trying to be malicious or hurtful. And I think before Will decided to go in a violent direction, he should have recognized and thought that through a little bit.
Okay, so telling joke is fine, but you need to watch your mouth or what you're saying or telling any joke that you're saying because for comedians jokes are fine. I don't have wrong with that. Jokes are fine, but you need to be careful what you're saying, like what any jokes that you're telling to the public. Let's say that if you say any jokes about people who got depression and they kill themselves or people has anxiety, cancer, racism or saying like go back to their country where they came from, anything like that. So you need to watch your mouth what you're saying. Jokes are fine, but you need to have like clean jokes, not saying like inappropriate or saying like that you're trying to hate someone, like being rude and also being disrespectful. That people will react like, okay, let's say that I'm a comedian. If I say like inappropriate jokes that I would not supposed to say it to in public, and I'm gonna feel like really embarrassed myself. Like if I'm like a comedian trying to be a good person, like make people laugh, not insult it to anyone.
Yeah, I was just gonna piggyback off of what Elvis was gonna say. Like context is very important. You need to like know your audience beforehand and like plan your jokes accordingly to avoid accidentally offending someone or just coming off as ignorant.
All right, so my point is just gonna say like people also say that Will Smith, his fame kind of got to him because he's at the peak of his fame. But before I finish that, I just want to say some jokes you kind of like. Yes, I get you kind of knowing your audience is important, but you're gonna offend someone with some jokes. So I can't really say that you can kind of defend from not offending people in a way. So I don't know if I can fully agree with that last statement, but I can see where you're coming from, where you try to prepare not to offend people, but you're gonna. In most comedian shows, someone in the audience is always gonna get offended. That's just how it is, and then they go to social media and they talk about it. But it's always been like that. I feel like this is just kind of blown a little bit out of proportion because it's more of a famous person, and since they have more influence, that's why people have kind of like picked sides and started defending them or attacking and so forth.
Yeah, I agree.
I just wanted to say, like, from a African American standpoint, I would say that this kind of added more fuel to the fire. I would say there's just gonna be more of they got up there and they made a fool of themselves, and then the Fox News reporter felt like she took the time to say that the Oscars is not the hood at response to Will Smith's actions, and I just wanted to point out that they definitely like I said, added fuel to the fire of these comments, and there's gonna be much more gonna be made.
Yep, and also they're gonna keep talking about it more about Will Smith and Chris Rock.
This was Open Mic Thursday. Thank you for listening.
Power Your Story podcast is produced by Chicago high school students with production support from After School Matters and the Creative Imposter Studios.
Our theme music is by our very own Genaro Jackson, aka Professor DJ Sparks. Give it up. You can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora. We are on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube as well as Power Your Story Podcast. Follow us and share our show with friends and family.
Thank you for listening. Peace.